Good morning. It is Friday. It's 10 a.m. It's time for lit lattes. I have got to stop um, talking very lightly. Anyways, hi. It's nice to see everybody on here this morning. Wow, straight killing it already. We have so many new books to talk about. So let's just get right started. We have Miss Kathryn on today, and she's going to be talking about all the young adult stuff. Um, well, all the youth stuff. I snagged a couple of young adult books that we're going to get into here in just a little bit. But let's just get started. The first one up is After All I've Done by Mina Hardy. I was just talking to Bridget. I feel like all new thrillers that are coming out look exactly like this cover, which is great for people like me because I love it so much. It's so like if you put flowers on your cover, chances are I will either talk about your book or check it out. I was gonna say buy it, but I don't buy books anymore. So After All I've Done takes place 5 months ago. No. So 5 months ago, an accident left Diana Sparrow badly injured and missing a few months of her memory. Never a good start. As if that's not enough, she started having recurring nightmares about the night of the accident, dreams that feel so real she's left questioning maybe she didn't just slide off the road into a ditch. Maybe, just maybe, she hit something or someone. Yikes. Um, oh my God, I love it so much. I can't stop looking at it. The next book is a young adult book who also has a stunning cover. Um, Jen recommended that we talk about this one today. It's called These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Basically, this is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, but it takes place in 1926 or 29, sometime in the 20s, and takes place in Shanghai. So I thought that was kind of neat. So there's a blood feud between two gangs that run the streets red, leaving the city helpless in the grip of chaos. As the deaths stack up, Juliet and Roma must set their guns and grudges aside and work together, for if they can stop this mayhem, then there will be no city left for either to rule. We also discussed that a lot of young adult covers look like this now. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe we'll do a study. I picked this next book. It's another young adult book based solely on its name, not its cover this time. It's The Surprising Power of a Good Dumpling by Wei Chim. And it's a novel about growing up in a migrant Asian family with a mother who is suffering from a mental illness. From the highly commended author of Freedom Swimmer, Annie Chu has her hands pretty full looking after her brother and sister and helping out at her dad's restaurant, all while her mom stays in bed. So, little how she gets through that and navigates through this time in her life. I realize that we have a lot of Asian authors this week, and I love when that just happens because I just randomly pick new books off the cart once we get them in to talk about. So this next one is Tokyo Station by Yu Miri. This just won, I think, the National Book Award for a translated piece. I'm not 100% sure on it, but it has won the National Book Award. And it's a surreal, devastating story of a homeless ghost who haunts one of Tokyo's busiest train stations. Kazu is dead, born in Fukushima in 1933, the same year as the Japanese emperor. His life is tied by a series of coincidences to the imperial family and has been shaped at every turn by modern Japanese history. It's a very short, and it looks very good. Who doesn't love a nice, colorful cover? The next one is kind of fun, also very small. It's a fantasy, and it's called The Factory Witches at Lowell by C.S. Malrich. Um, Faced with abominable working conditions, unsympathetic owners, and hard-hearted managers, the mill girls of Lowell have had enough. They're going on strike and they have a secret weapon on their side, a little witchcraft to ensure that no one leaves the picket line. All right, we just have a few more. This will probably go out as soon as it's checked checked in. I have to get these books before they go downstairs, or else they'll all disappear. Because you all love some good books and some Joe Nesbo, even though that's not how we pronounce his name. But I hope Emily's not watching. Anyways, this is The Kingdom. It's the new one by Joe. And Roy has never left the quiet mountain town he grew up in, unlike his little brother Carl, who couldn't wait to get out. Sounds familiar. And escaped his troubled past. Just like everyone else in town, Roy believes Carl has gone for good. But Carl has big plans for his hometown. And when he returns with a mysterious new wife and a business opportunity that seems too good to be true, simmering tensions begin to surface and unexplained deaths in the town's past come under new scrutiny. Soon, powerful players set their sights on taking the brothers down by exposing their role in the town's sordid history. Apparently, I got enough caffeine this week because I can actually read what I have written down for you. Woo! The next, I think this is the last fiction that we're going to talk about, is Sherlock Holmes and the Beast of Stapleton's by James Lovegrove. He wrote another Sherlock Holmes book. I think he has like a whole series of them. And I think it's called The Christmas Beast. I could be wrong. It's downstairs in our Christmas section, and I will talk about that a little bit later on. But I enjoy so much how he writes Sherlock Holmes. I'm a huge fan, and I just really loved this one. So as soon as I saw this, I had to order it, and as soon as it came in, I had to grab it off the cart. So this one takes place in 1894. The monstrous Hounds of the Baskervilles has been dead for 5 years, along with its no less monstrous owner, the naturalist Jack Stapleton. Sir Henry Baskerville is living contently at Baskerville Hall with his new wife Audrey and their 3-year-old son Harry. Until that is, Audrey's lifeless body is found on the moors, drained of blood. It would appear some fiendish creature is once more at large on Dartmoor and has, like its predecessor, targeted the unfortunate Baskerville family. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson are summoned to Sir Henry's aid, and our heroes must face a marauding beast that is the very stuff of nightmares. It seems that Stapleton may not have perished in the great Gripen mire after all, as Holmes believed, and is hell-bent on revenge. What I like most about James Lovegrove's writing is that he writes Sherlock kind of like dry humory. And there's many times that I laugh out loud while reading this, and everything inside is just me. Like the chapters, starts. I like things like that. I never know if there's any glare. Maybe I should just stop showing you what's inside. The next book is not new, but this is our second copy. It's our second or our third copy, but it's Cast, The Origins of Our Discontent by award-winning journalist Isabel Wilkerson. I just wanted to highlight this because it's the first time in many months that I've been able to like snag a copy before it went downstairs back into circulation. Right, so in this book, she argues that the United States operates under a caste system based on race. Wilkerson compares the United States to India and Nazi Germany, examining the similarities and differences between each nation's caste system. India has a wild caste system. From like probably high school, India's caste system has like always like stayed in the back of my mind of like something I have learned about that country. It's very interesting, and also extremely rigid. So pick that up if you can. Um, because we have more copies, the faster you'll get it. So definitely place a hold on that. It's a good one, and it was also an Oprah book club selection too. So the last one I grabbed, I did because I don't know what the official title of the day was, but it was like Premature Baby Awareness Day. So this book is What We Didn't Expect by Melody Schreiber. So I learned when I was reading about this book that 400,000 babies are born prematurely in the United States every year, and 10% of babies born in the US are preemies. But that one word, preemie, encompasses a range of medical and cultural experiences. Um, there are textbooks and medical-ish guidebooks and the occasional memoir to turn up, but no book that collects personal experiences from the many people who have parented, cared for, or been preemies themselves. Until now. Excuse me. In What We Didn't Expect, journalist Melody Schreiber brings together a chorus of acclaimed writers and thinkers to share their diverse stories of having or being premature babies. The story here covers everything from life-changing tests of faith to navigating the red tape of healthcare bureaucracy, from overcoming unimaginable grief to surviving and thriving against all odds. And we love all our preemie babies. I have a lot of friends who've had preemies, and they're a little special. So, all right, Kathryn, what are we going to read to our children this week?
Well, hello, Ariel. How are you today?
Amazing. It's the weekend. Almost.
Good. Hold on. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go stop them.
Did she say that she was going to stab them? Just. It's fine. Everything is fine. I know there are a lot of dog lovers on here, so it's okay.
Benefits of working at home. So, sorry about that, but I have quite a few selections to talk about today. And of course, these are only a few. I do order quite a bit of books. I usually order new books every month or two, and there's quite a lot of fun ones. So these are just the ones that I picked, but it's not all that we have. So the first one that I want to talk about is called What We'll Build by Oliver Jeffers. I don't have the books with me, so I do have the covers on my phone. So this cover is very nice. It's very blue. I love Oliver Jeffers illustrations, but it's a rare and enduring story about a parent's boundless love, life's endless opportunities, and all we need to build a better future together. So using their own special tools, they get to work, building memories, cherish a home to keep them safe, and love to keep them warm. And it's about a father and a daughter who's doing all this together, which is great because that's another thing you don't actually see very often. Books where the father is the main front of it, which is really nice for this one. The next one I wanted to talk about were actually, I do have these ones because I read these during Thanksgiving story time this past Wednesday. And well, I shouldn't say I read all of them, and I'll go into why I didn't read all of them. But let's start with this one. This one is called Peyton Picks a Perfect Pie by Jack Bishop and illustrated by Michelle Mee Nutter. I really like this one for what it was. It just, the only thing is it's kind of long, but it's about Peyton, who's a picky eater. I can relate because I'm also a picky eater. So, and she doesn't like certain things for Thanksgiving. She doesn't like them if it's too crunchy. She doesn't like her foods touching, and she doesn't like, things that just don't feel right to her. But every year, her mom hosts Thanksgiving, her parents host Thanksgiving, I should say, and they ask everybody to bring a pie. So for this year, Peyton decides that she is going to taste a pie. She's going to not be picky anymore. She's going to eat whatever's given to her, but she's going to start with a pie. So yeah, so overall, this one was good. If you have a picky eater at home, definitely this one was a good to pick up. And also for fun, there is an apple pie recipe in the back. So this would be a kind of a fun at-home activity. Read the book and make an apple pie together. So yeah, so this is one book out of our Thanksgiving ones. Also, I ordered quite a few new Thanksgiving books. I just happen to have 3. So I did read Bad Kitty Does Not Like Thanksgiving by Nick Bruhl. This one was nice. This one was funny. It was short. It's about Bad Kitty. He doesn't like Thanksgiving at all. He doesn't like any of the food except for the turkey. So he schemes throughout the book to try to get the turkey off the table. Of course, it doesn't quite go his way. So this one had all the kids laughing on Wednesday. Now, this one, I have to tell you, this one was a fun book. 'Twas the Night Before Thanksgiving. It's by Dav Pilkey, who has, he writes the Captain Underpants books, which I loved when I was a kid. So this book was good, and I really enjoyed it. I just have to warn you guys at home, if you do pick it up, it's about kids who go to a farm for Thanksgiving, and in the middle of it, the farmer comes out with an axe. So it does turn, in the end, it turns nice. Spoiler alert, the kids kind of kidnap the turkeys, and they are guests at their Thanksgiving dinner instead of being eaten. But it's just kind of very dark in the middle, and it could possibly be a little bit scary, but it does have a nice ending. So those are 3 of our new Thanksgiving books. Our next picture book I want to talk about is Cozy by Jan Brett. This is the cover for it. So it's the next, why is it looking like that? But this is the next Jan Brett book. Of course, Jan Brett's written The Mitten, The Hat, which are very similar stories. And if you're familiar with them, Cozy is also very familiar to The Hat and The Mitten. Cozy is a musk ox in Alaska with the warmest fur that you ever felt. When a storm hits, he's separated from his family, and he is super lonely, but not for long, because as the snow piles up, he'll start to notice just how warm and cozy really is. So they eventually start to burrow in his fur, and even though and as more animals come, Cozy has to put some house rules down, like they have to have quiet voices, they have to keep their claws to themselves, no biting, and even though that's easy enough, eventually animals start to bicker and fight. But thankfully, spring is coming, and that means that everybody will get to go to their spring and summer homes, but they're all looking forward to coming back next winter. So it's a great book on friendship, how to live in harmony. So if you have some bickering going on in your house, this might be a good book for you. And a great tale about sharing as well. So it's a fun one. So the next picture book is called Julian at the Wedding by Jessica Love. If you're familiar with Julian is a mermaid. This is the sequel. And a quick background on Julian is a mermaid. That was a great book that came out a few years ago about letting kids express themselves. So of course, Julian saw beautiful women on the subway wearing dresses, and his family decided to let him wear dresses. So it's a great book, and there's more to it as well. It's a fun story. That's just kind of a quick overview. But Julian at the Wedding is Julian and his abuela are going to a wedding. Better yet, Julian is in the wedding. Weddings have flowers and dancing, and he's super excited about that. And so he has a new friend named Marisol, and not long before the wedding, they set off for some magic and mischief of their own. So it's just a really nice story about friendship and having a good friend by your side. So especially a friend who accepts you for who you are and your individuality. So that was the picture books I want to talk about. But again, we have so many more picture books that are brand new at the library. So please feel free to come in and check those ones out. So for chapter books, we have the 8th book. So there are 8 books in the Spy School series. This is the 8th book. I'm actually not going to read what this book's about because um, it actually gives away the entire story. So I'm going to tell you what Spy School is about because I really like the Spy School books, and this is number 8, and I think it'd be a fun series to start with your kids. So, super spy middle schooler Ben Ripley faces the Croatan, a new evil organization that's so mysterious the only proof it exists is from the American Revolution. Ben Ripley may only be in middle school, but he's already pegged his dream job. He wants to work in the CIA or bust. Unfortunately for him, his personality doesn't exactly scream secret agent. In fact, Ben is so awkward he can barely get to school and back without a mishap. Because of his innate nerdiness, go Ben, because so am I. Ben is not surprised when he's recruited for a magnet school with a focus on science, but he's entirely shocked to discover that the school is actually a front for a junior CIA academy. So, of course, his dream job is right at his fingertips. So that's why I didn't want to read what Spy School Revolution is about, because like I said, it's number 8 in the series, and it really ruined some of the story. But of course, if you're already there, you're already waiting for number 8, it is at the library, and then you know where the story's going. So the next chapter book I want to talk about is called Sophia Valdez and the Vanishing Vote by Andrea Beatty. So this is one of many election books I bought. Of course, the election is over, but if your kids are still curious, we have tons of new election books for kids to read. And if they're curious about actually what the election was and why it was so important, please come down and look at those books. But Sophia Valdez and the Vanishing Vote is about Miss Lila, the teacher, announces it's time for grade 2 to get a class pet. So all the kids come together and they come up with 2 choices, Team Turtle and Team Bird. Sophia is named the election commissioner, and she is in charge of overseeing a fair and honest election. However, when the votes are counted, one is missing. And how will the class break the tie? And what happened to the vanishing vote? So it's up to Sophia Valdez and the questionnaires to restore democracy. The questionnaires, by the way, is the series. There are 4 other books in the series as well. If you're interested, I know that we have the Rosie Riveter one as well. Okay, so the next book is the newest book by J.K. Rowling called The Ichabod. Really like the Ichabod's cover. I really liked what J.K. Rowling did with the Ichabod. She had, before we get into what it's about, she had kids all over the U.S. Create images for it. It was a fun little contest back a couple of months or about a year back. So it's nice that the publishing company and that they brought that in to make it a nice make everything individual. So once upon a time, there's a tiny kingdom called Cornucopia, as rich in happiness as it was gold, and famous for its food, from the delicate cream cheeses of Kurtzburg to the pastries of Chowville. Each was so delicious that people wept with joy as they ate. However, not everything is as happy as it seems, because there's a monster that lurks around the kingdom. Legend tells that it is a fearsome creature living far in the north of the marshlands called the Ichabod. Some say it breathes fire, spits poison, but all of this is not founded yet. So the myth does take a life of its own, and best friends Bert and Daisy embark on a great adventure to untangle the truth and find out where the real monster lies. So, and it is in full color. Like I said, the illustrations are full color by children from across the United States, and Canada as well. So if you're interested in that, that's a fun one, especially if you liked, it still has the same charm as J.K. Rowling's, of course, her other fantasy novels, Harry Potter, so those ones. So now on to YA books. Ariel talked about 2 great ones. I'm going to talk about 3 others. And I really am happy she talked about the Violent Beast, I think it was called, because I really thought that had a really nice cover. So we're going to talk about Instant Karma by Marissa Mayer. So this is what this one looks like. I really like the covers that are coming out lately. I know you're not supposed to judge a book on its cover. I do a little bit. So this is by best-selling author Marissa Mayer. It is about a girl who's suddenly gifted with the ability to cast instant karma on those around her, both good karma and bad, which I think would be really fun superpower to have, especially if you've been in a situation where you just kind of look at them and go, you shouldn't have done that. So Prue is an overachiever. Her full name is Prudence. Her dreams of karmic justice are fulfilled when, after a night out with friends, she wakes up with a sudden ability to cast instant karma on those around her. She makes use of this power by punishing everyone from public vandals to mean gossips. But there's one person on whom her powers constantly backfire: Quint Erickson, her slacker of a lab partner. By the way, this is also a romance, so if that's where it's going. I'm sure they'll talk it out. So Quint is annoyingly cute and impressively noble, especially when it comes to his work with the rescue center for local sea animals. When Prue resigns herself to working at the rescue center for extra credit, she begins to uncover truths about baby otters, environmental upheaval, and romantic cross signals, not necessarily in that order. So it's a fun book on virtue and vanity, generosity and greed, and of course love. So that's a fun one that just came out. The next book I want to talk about is called Everybody Looking by Candace Illo. I want to say her last name is Illo. I hope I'm saying it correctly. So this one is a finalist for the National Book Award. When Ada leaves home for her freshman year at a historically Black college, it's the first time she's ever been so far from her family, and the first time she's ever been able to make her own choices and to seek her place in this new world. As she stumbles deeper into the world of dance and explores her sexuality, she also begins to wrestle with her past, her mother's struggles with addiction, her Nigerian father's attempt to make a home for her. Ultimately, Ada discovers that she needs to brush off the destiny others have chosen for her and claim full ownership of her body and her future. So it's a really great book. It talks about a lot of issues that we all have, and of course, definitely in the Black community. So if you're interested, there's a great one as well. So the last book I want to talk about is called Blaze Wrath Games by Amparo Ortiz. This is a fantasy novel, and has dragons, which I love dragons. I just read Dragons Love Tacos with my preschoolers this week. So dragons and their riders compete in an international sports tournament in this alternate contemporary world fantasy. Lena Torres has always preferred dragons to people. I mean, who wouldn't? In a few weeks, 16 countries will compete in the Blaze Wrath World Cup, a tournament where dragons and their riders fight for glory in a dangerous relay. Lana longs to represent her native Puerto Rico in their first ever World Cup appearance, and when Puerto Rico's runner, the only player without a dragon steed, is kicked off the team, she's given the chance. But when she discovers that a former Blaze Wrath superstar is teamed up with the Sire, a legendary dragon who's crossed into human form, the safety of the cup is jeopardized. The pair burning down dragon sanctuaries around the world and refuse to stop unless the cup gets canceled. All Lana wanted was to represent her country, and now she has to navigate international conspiracy that's deadlier than her beloved sport. So it definitely goes beyond just a tournament type book. So if you're interested in that, I'm interested in it, so please get it before I do. All right, so those are all the books I have for today, but of course, I do have way more at the library, so please come by and check them out. Back to you, Ariel. Oh, I think you're muted, Ariel.
Yikes. Kathryn, you make me want to read everything. I want you to take over the show. Because you make everything sound so fun, and I want to pick up everything that you talk about.
Well,
and
that sounds fun.
I had no idea that Jan Brett had another book out. I remember her from my childhood. And The Mitten was my jam, probably my favorite book, other than like the Mercer Mayer book.
Yeah, I have to say I love Jan Brett too. The only reason she popped up on the list, but the reason I knew she was coming out with one is actually because of the pandemic. Because I emailed her at the beginning to see if I could read her books on live streams, and she was like, "Yeah, while you're here, please sign up for my newsletter." So
that's how you've talked to her.
I have. She gave me permission to read all of her books at the beginning of the pandemic in her live stream. So I had to buy it, of course. And it was in debt to her.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was definitely great. And we can switch one week, Ariel. You can do all my story times and I'll do Lit Latte.
Okay, because I can do the voices. And then
Yeah.
you'll do lattes, and then we'll fight for each other's jobs.
Well, there we
We'll
go.
switch. Oh, Kathryn,
just
so
for a
much
week,
for
though.
what?
Just for a week, though.
Just for a week. Kathryn, thank you so much for coming on today. I so
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me. Bye, everybody.
All right. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thanks. You too.
All right. So I have been listening to quite a few books this week. I finished the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. That was an interesting book. I almost gave up on it, and I might have gave up on it if I was reading the print. But I started to enjoy it. Basically, the title gives everything away. It's about a small book club of women in like the early 90s. So we're looking at like 92, 93 to like 96 is when it takes place. And yeah, some women in a suburb of Charleston, South Carolina start a book club, and strange things start happening to one of the women in the book club, Patricia. And they find out that a vampire has moved in next to her and starts not ruining their lives, actually quite the opposite, but then things start to go south very quickly. There is a part of the book at the end that is very gruesome. I mean, it's not happening to a good person, but it was a little hard for me to listen to. So just a little spoiler alert on that. But other than that, it was pretty okay. I think I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. I'm starting to be a little bit more like honest with my stars giving. It was okay. If you enjoy books like that, then you'll probably love it. I started reading the library's book club selection yesterday, and by reading I mean listening. Um, mm, right, so that's The Fixed Stars by Molly Weisenberg. I don't know why I always stutter to say that. It is very good. It will make you feel a lot of feelings because like you can connect with her and her story on some level. Whether it's being you know, a professional mother, or having hesitations about having children, or starting a new business, or finding out after about 35 years of life that in fact you might not be straight, you might be bi or gay. So it's very good. Yesterday all my emotions were really heightened, and I had to talk to some of the girls in our book club, and I was like, have you guys read this? So we had like a little mini discussion yesterday, but I am so excited for our book discussion on this Tuesday. The book is a very short. You can get it either in audio, which is only 6 hours. If you listen on double speed, you'll be done in half the time. Or you can read it. I want to say it's less than 250 pages. But it's really good, and like, oh, all the feelings. Right. So I haven't finished it because I was a little crazy last night. So I started listening to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I talked about it a couple of weeks. It hasn't been in the library since then. It's a New York Times bestseller. It is very good, very interesting. Basically, Addie LaRue on her wedding night goes into the forests of France and begs with the night gods for her freedom. And boy, does she get it. It takes place between 1714 and 2014, so 300 years. It jumps back and forth. Sometimes it talks like it will tell you that it's jumped in between, but sometimes it doesn't, so you have to stay a little sharp. while you're reading it. But it's very good. And Addie just lives through life. As soon as she's out of someone's sight, they immediately forget about her, until one day she's at a bookstore and someone does remember her. So it's a very good, it's very interesting. And so far, I'm probably a third through the book now, and I would recommend it. I think it's only going to get better from here. So that is what I'm reading, and that will probably take me through to next week. Next week is Thanksgiving and Black Friday. We are not here, so there will be no Lit Latte episode next week, but we might tape something and do a little scheduled post. So there might be something that you want to watch after you. I don't know. Are they even doing Black Friday shopping this year? I hope not. Please stay home. Please wear your mask and please stay safe. Please, please do that. So with that being said, I wanted to highlight, I also wanted to sing Mariah Carey for you, but I won't. Bridget tells me I only have 30 seconds before Mariah will sue us, and I bet it's a lot less time than that. So, since we all want to stay home and be safe, we have a ton of Christmas books in the library. We already brought up our Christmas fiction books, so mystery, cozy mystery, every Debbie McComber's book. And I was so tickled when I was looking at our bookshelves. Did you know that Debbie has her own Christmas cookbook? I could not wait to share this with everybody. It's your basic like Christmas brunch stuff, cookies, of course, tarts, cheesecakes, everything. Everything's in here, and it looks so wonderful. How to make your own eggnog, of course. This is your one-stop shop for Christmas cooking. So all the books I talk about today are going to go down in that display, so you can come and pick them up. I'm not going to really talk too much about the books. They're very self-explanatory, but I just wanted to show you what we have. We have Good Housekeeping Christmas cookies. If you do a cookie exchange with your friends, I was looking at Martha Stewart's website. She has like a how-to do like a safe cookie exchange this year. So yeah, get all your Christmas goodies, cookies in this book. Good Housekeeping always has something good in here. Butter cookies, gingerbread, of course. Shows you how to do this little cute cookie wreath. If you're really ambitious this year, we have time. So check that one out. I love Christmas decorating so much. And this is an old-fashioned Christmas. And this one, of course, we have more recipes. Maybe. Ooh, dog treats. I think this is everything in here. Maple bacon popcorn. Party foods that hopefully you share with just the immediate people in your household. Oh, I guess this is a cookbook. This was not with the cookbooks. That's very interesting. Anyways, old-fashioned Christmas. I thought this was kind of fun for the kids. The Lego Christmas ornaments book. It's very cute. Oh yeah. All types of Christmas ornaments that you can make with the kids or not your kids. Legos are timeless. We also have the Country Living Christmas Joys book. I'm sure this is going to have more cookie. What's Christmas without cookies? Am I right? Oh yes. This is more crafty things. Ornaments, everything, decorating. It's very beautiful. Then we move on to A Very Merry Paper Christmas. So this is going to have all your paper crafts in it, including ornaments, a tree topper, 3D vintage ornament garlands. These are books that you're just going to want to hunker down on a Saturday afternoon and do a little crafting. And they seem pretty simple, so you could do this, of course, with your kids. Yeah, it is a good one. I have to pick this because I love Martha Stewart more than really. Okay. I just love her a lot. I won't say I love her more than anything, but she's up there. So this is everything holiday crafts. Of course, there's some Christmas in here, but there are other holidays as well. That is a mean looking pumpkin. But yeah, just pomegranate and flower arrangements. Sometimes you need a little fresh flowers in your life. Got to. If you're not interested in American Christmas, we have Scandinavian Christmas. So these are just more Nordic. Oh my goodness, decorations. There is a Christmas card on a string, which is not a great title, but it's still pretty. You can even see that. We've got a little something for everybody. And I like how on all these craft books, they sneak in like baking. Of course. This is Half Yard Christmas. They got gift bags, advent calendars in this one. Again, something fun to do with your kids or your teenagers. Just something to do. Ooh, this one has a tree skirt, so it's a little more complicated. But yeah, if you have any ideas, this would also be really great if you wanted to make like homemade gifts this Christmas. And that's why we're doing this. Usually I can't stand anything Christmas before Thanksgiving, but we'll be closed for Thanksgiving and that Friday. And if you just want to get a head start mapping out what you want to do for the holidays, that's why we are here today. And the last one is 100 little Christmas gifts to make. Ooh, we've got earrings and more ornaments, and clay, a crystal phone sock, which is really cool if you're into knitting. It has just a little something for everybody. Ooh, and it looks like it has sections. So one is like knitting and crocheting. The next one looks like jewelry. So yeah, definitely stop by and pick up a couple of these books if you're into crafting or you want to start getting into crafting. So yeah, that's all I have for this week. I didn't have a lot of stuff for this week in history until I just looked it up. Today, the Nuremberg trial started in Nuremberg, Germany. Yesterday was the anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, and Wednesday was the anniversary of the Jonestown massacre that happened in the 70s, and 900 people either willingly killed themselves or were forced to kill themselves. Also, it was Flavor Aid and not Kool-Aid. Whenever someone says, "Oh, you must drink the Kool-Aid," it's not accurate. Flavor Aid. And I will leave you on that note. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Come pick up all these books. We're getting so many new books in the library, and just have something to read over Thanksgiving when you have hopefully a couple of days off just to relax. So all right, thanks so much for watching. We won't see you next week, but we will see you the first Friday in December. Hope everyone is well and stay safe out there. Bye.